It's time for the One Bar and Lupica Show, bringing you anything and everything Minnesota Vikings.
Welcome to professional football.
All right, welcome back to another episode of One Bar and Lupigus. I am One Bar. We're officially 9 days away from the NFL draft. Mel Kiper dropped his new 2-rounder today. I thought it'd be fun to go through that, pick it apart a little bit, and see how the Vikings doing in the first 2 rounds of the draft. And I'm going to warn you, it's gross. It is very, very, very gross. And I'm going to tell you why. But let's get into I'm not going to go pick by any means, but he's pretty standard through the first handful of picks. He does have Tua falling 6th to the Chargers, which was surprising. He's got some receivers sliding a little bit, which is going to toy with Vikings emotions if this actually happens on draft day. He's got Judy going 9 to the Jags. He's got other Vikings guys. CeeDee Lamb going to the Niners. Pretty good. Andrew Thomas. People are really hoping he falls at 22 to the Vikings. He's got going to the Bucks, which is absolutely on the table. Number 15, Broncos. This is a big, kind of a surprise for me. He's my guy. He's my draft crush. Justin Jefferson going 15 to the Broncos. It seems like this guy's just getting hotter and hotter, and maybe even at pick 22 is becoming a little bit of a pipe dream, and I need to prepare myself for that. But I'm still holding out hope. But he's got Justin Jefferson going before Henry Ruggs by quite a bit. So Ruggs falling all the way to pick 21, right before us, sniped by the Philadelphia Eagles. I can't think of anything worse. It's not just as bad he went to pick before us, but it's the Eagles that end up with him. And if he's on the board at 21, could totally see the Eagles need a wide receiver extremely bad. Ruggs has no right being there at 21. Eagles would love sniping the Vikings, taking him. But if he's there at 20, maybe we hop up to 20 and switch with the Jags and don't give up the farm and get Ruggs. So we'll see what happens. He's also got Javon Kinlaw falling to 18 of the Dolphins. So between these 4 picks, if Kinlaw and Ruggs are on the board, Vikings' hearts could be breaking as they're getting so close to getting a absolute stallion at 22. So 22, who did we get? It's Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver, Arizona State. Now, don't get me wrong. I like this guy. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be a solid 2, solid 3. He's a playmaker. He does special teams. Big play guy. Huge wingspan. But at pick 22, I would be drinking beers until I fell asleep if we took him at 22. I think he at best is a second round guy. If the Vikings took him in round 2, I'd be like, all right, I'll take it. If they took him in round 3, he's just all over the board at 22. And this is before he still has Denzel Mims on the board. He's got T. Higgins on the board. Some pretty good receivers, especially Mims. To go Ayuk, he'd come in as a rookie. He'd make some plays for the Vikings. I just don't think he has the number 2 quality right off the bat that I'm hoping we get. So let's go to 25 and see if we can turn this thing around. Nope. Kiper has us taking Jaylen Johnson from Utah. And Jaylen Johnson, I think he's creeping into the round 1. I think he will be a round 1 guy. But the fact that we kind of took a leap and took Ayuk at 22 makes Johnson not as great. So I could handle Johnson if we got a Mims or if we got a Justin Jefferson at 22, but we just get 2 guys that are just kind of maybe a little bit of a reach. And round 1, I don't want reaches. I want studs. And the part that hurts the most is we passed on guys, like I said, like a T. Higgins. Josh Jones was still on the board. Denzel Mims was on the board. Austin Jackson was on the board. Cornerbacks, Christian Fulton was on the board. Jeff Gladney was on the board. So all these guys, and we took Ayuk and Jaylen Johnson. So that does not sit well at all. Trade back if that's going to happen. Trade back a couple picks. At least get something out of the deal. So round 2, we enter round 2 with a brand new wide receiver, brand new cornerback. It's time to address the offensive line. That's exactly what he did. There wasn't a ton to pick from. So we went with Ezra Cleveland. Ezra Cleveland, I mean, if you wait till round 2 before you address the offensive line, that's what you're going to kind of end up with. A guy that is on the fringe of maybe playing as a rookie, maybe a little bit of a project. Ezra Cleveland's watched his stock go way up over the last couple months. But even in round 2, I think Cleveland is still a little bit of a reach. At that point, with no offensive line help, you kind of have to reach. But the fact that we reached with our first 2 picks, gross. just gross. I mean, he's not going to come in. He's not going to. Riley Reef wouldn't also not be starting because we have Ezra Cleveland. So he's gonna. I don't see him playing. So we end up with Ayuk, Jaylen Johnson, Ezra Cleveland. If that's how day one goes and day two, I give that a big old solid D+. And I would get over it very quick. And in a couple of days, I'd be saying these were great steals, and I'd be just fine with it. But when you look at the guys still on the board, and that is pretty much it. Next podcast, we're going to be talking about Lupagus is going to be giving us some hope on how Andrew Thomas could be there at pick 22. So tune in, like the video, subscribe.